Following its establishment in 1908, the Bureau of Investigation remained just an obscure investigative arm of the Justice Department, staffed by political cronies until 1924, when 26-year-old J. Edgar Hoover was brought in to head it.
It's a gun that disappeared for a number of years, in a sense, from the tour.
John Fox, the FBI's official historian, says Hoover cleaned up an agency mired in the political corruption of the day.
He really went wholeheartedly into reforming the Bureau, into making really law enforcement in the federal government a profession rather than a political position.
Under Hoover, the FBI, the federal, was added to the name in 1935, established an unparalleled reputation for forensic investigations of crimes, hunting down of fugitives like bank robber John Dillinger, who was gunned down outside a Chicago theater in 1934, and perhaps above all, incorruptibility. Hoover set about enhancing the FBI's reputation in the media and public mind until it became embedded in popular mythology.
We have been able to learn.
Even today, agents who never worked for him still refer to him as Mr. Hoover. But as former FBI agent Stan Pimentel says, J. Edgar Hoover also ran the FBI as a bureaucratic fiefdom with virtually no outside oversight or interference.
Mr. Hoover responded to certain members of Congress. Of course, he was supposed to be responding to the Attorney General, but really, in effect, Mr. Hoover was the FBI, and he ran the FBI, and he could pretty much do what he wanted.
In that secretive and insular atmosphere, the FBI gradually engaged in controversial operations, including electronic eavesdropping and disruption of activist groups in the 1960s, including Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr. Now 85 years old, former FBI Domestic Intelligence Chief Ed Miller says Hoover was concerned about civil liberties, but was also worried about what he viewed as communist influence on anti-war and civil rights groups. Miller says Hoover had nothing personal against King, but the FBI chief was repelled by what he learned of the civil rights leader's extramarital affairs.
Hoover was worried about Martin Luther King. Not that he disliked Martin Luther King, although he didn't like his morals.
After Hoover died in 1972, the FBI became more open and more accountable to Congress. Hoover did not live to see what might have saddened him the most, the arrest and conviction of one of his agents, Robert Hansen, for spying for Moscow. Today, FBI agents are more specialized than those of the Hoover era. And as the FBI passes into its new century, agents find the emphasis is now on national security, particularly counterterrorism. FBI historian John Fox says the missteps of the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover leave today's FBI agents with clear lessons of the perilous balance between protecting lives and security and safeguarding civil liberties.
He also left us a couple of big warning signs of places where we could go wrong and things that we have to be aware of, actively work against, so that we maintain that balance between protecting liberty and ensuring security. I think that's the legacy Hoover has left us, and it's a good one to remember.
Gary Thomas, VOA News, Washington.